This is Dim Simple Media YouTube channel, the first common sense opposition uncensored YouTube channel from Los Angeles by a Los Angelino. As you can see, we're now at the intersection of Highland and Hollywood Boulevard in the iconic section of the city. There's a Hollywood Boulevard. You can see the stars here, tourists passing by. We have some local residents engaged in some kind of a grooming ceremony. A lot of homeless people living on Hollywood Boulevard doing drugs, buying drugs, but I think they're right now very busy, so we don't see too many. They're coming out at night, but you know, he's leaving, even this guy is leaving now. So we came here expecting to see a lot more homeless people because they're usually congregating around this intersection trying to solicit money from naive tourists. But today, we don't see too many of them. Maybe it's the wrong time of the day, or maybe we need to thank our city council for somehow enticing them to leave Hollywood Boulevard and go somewhere else. Supposedly it's a good development and we have to give them credit. We have to give credit where credit is due, right? But then what they're doing is they're moving them around. They're taking them from one part of the city to another part of the city. They didn't leave Los Angeles. They're still in the city, but they're somewhere else. They're less visible, where it's less of an embarrassment for the tourists to see. But if you move them from one place to another, it doesn't solve the problem. Shelters, they're moving them into the shelters. And then they're placing those shelters in the midst of normal residential neighborhoods, creating a hazard for the local population, for people who live near the shelter. Because obviously, the people who live in the shelter, they're dysfunctional, they're criminals, they're thugs, they're drug addicts, and they're gonna pretty much destroy any neighborhood that the shelter is built. So there is a simple solution. We're going to talk about it later. But the solution is to move them all out of the city. Move all the homeless out of the city so that it would look like this. See, Hollywood Boulevard, cleaner than before. I don't see too many homeless. Why can't the entire city look like that? Why are we trying to make it look good only for the tourists? What about making it look good and feel good and safe for the locals? So that beside that point. Now we're located here, on the sidewalk with the stars, Hollywood Boulevard. So I should say something about the motion picture industry that's been in a very sad decline and major crisis for a while. It seems like they don't really target the sources of the crisis for motion picture industry. I mean, first of all, what is the crisis? The crisis is that the viewership is falling. They don't want to watch those movies anymore. They don't want to watch those shows anymore. People are not so interested. There's a number of reasons why the motion picture industry is in decline. The reasons I'm going to talk about are not the reasons that they are claiming why the motion picture industry is in decline. Number one is unions. As in any other industry, unions are destroying like cancer. They're destroying the industry from inside. The damage that was caused by this actors' strike, not just the actors, but all other motion picture industry workers, the damage was enormous. Even the best shows that we all wanted to see were delayed for a long time. But you don't even remember. You see the first episode, first season, and then the next season comes out in 4 years. How am I supposed to remember what happened in the first season? And it got delayed because of this strike. Workers wanted their fair share. The studios were making too much money. It bothered them. And they, we need more money for our compensation for our talent. But the competition between actors, between all these makeup artists and camera people, all kinds of people who are working in the special effects people, there is a lot of competition. If they just allowed free competition, then the best ones would get employed and the best ones would get the highest salaries, and then the less talented ones would have no place there, and that would have been fine. We don't need that many actors. We don't need so many producers, so many shows. There's not enough market for it. People are not going to watch. They're sick and tired. They're fed up to here. They're saturated. The market is saturated. You just need a few good movies coming out, a few good shows coming out that people really care about. What we have now is we have tons of these ridiculous shows that nobody is watching. We have movies that no one can remember those actors. They're not memorable. We still remember actors from like the 90s. We definitely remember Leonardo DiCaprio, for example, but how many modern actors that just came out that just trying to be a celebrity we remember? We don't remember because it's so fractured. All these shows are so fractured that you barely remember. So as an audience, simply don't need that many shows. We simply don't need that many movies. Another problem with the motion picture industry is the content. Before, the content was basically coming from the heart. They were making movies about human relationships. They were making movies about some historic events without bias. They were focused on human soul that audience could connect with. And then the motion picture industry became woke. What does it mean, woke? They became like a propaganda of their own progressive ideas, sick ideas, that they are forcing upon population that doesn't want to see it. It's not healthy what they've been doing. People couldn't connect with it anymore. Each movie that they were making or a show had specific agenda, political agenda, ideological agenda, and people smelled that, so they tuned out. That's why they're losing audience, people are losing interest. They have niche audiences, but they're too small to support marketability of those movies. Another problem is that it's corrupt. The motion picture industry is very corrupt. If you're a really talented actor or an actress, if you don't get an agent, you're doomed. Nothing will happen. You will never succeed. To get an agent, you have to somehow, some mysterious process, get acquainted with an agent. You have to do something. You have to be in some kind of a very special project and distinguish yourself to get an agent. Everything is done by some kind of connection. It's nepotism almost in the motion picture industry. This institution of agents is corrupt because it prevents really talented people from moving forward. Just like all these quotas that they had. This is a multicultural society, multi-ethnic society, where they're saying everybody should have a chance. And then suddenly they said, oh, we need so many black people in the movie, or we need so many transsexual people in the movie, and so on and so forth. They start specifying. Instead of focusing on just the talent and make it merit-based, they started selecting actors based on their race or their background or their sexual orientation. And so it further degenerated the whole process, and it destroyed the quality of the content because they were not being merit-based. It doesn't matter. It's fine if 50% of the actors are black, if they're all talented, if they deserve it, if they really earned it. I want to see more of a Denzel Washington type of people there. But they were artificially forcing the directors to get someone from different minority groups instead of exclusively focusing on the talent. I'm sure they would have gotten a lot of minority actors and actresses, so-called minority, because in California, the white people are the minority. There's no majority. There's different groups. So it's even the term minority doesn't work here. But anyway, when the audiences started seeing that the movies became political, and then there is an identity politics in the motion picture industry, they also tuned out. It became low quality. It's just low quality. It's not artistic anymore. Oh, Oscar's so white. So what if it's white? If they deserved it, if they are brilliant actors, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. Same thing if somebody says, oh, why is Oscar so black? A lot of people will be upset. The only criteria should be talent. It should be your talent, not your race or background or whatever. The solution is make motion picture industry purely merit-based, have a fair selection process with all these auditions, without these agents, without the unions, get rid of the unions, get rid of the agents, make it a free competition between all the aspiring actors, actresses, talented, brilliant people. And you'll get a lot more of these DiCaprios, you get a lot more of Tom Hanks, you get more of Denzel Washingtons, all these brilliant, brilliant actors and actresses coming out. Why should it be such an awful, horrible process? Just make people compete, free competition, and the best ones will be the chosen ones, and they will be on our screens. And also the content will be different. It will be purely artistic, which will bring back the audiences. The audience will see truly talented people acting in really high quality content movies that they can connect with. When you watch a show, you watch a movie, you want to sit at the edge of your couch, excited, and it has to be suspenseful, it has to be heartwarming, and then motion picture industry will be back. If you really enjoyed this video, let's keep it between ourselves. Don't worry about liking it, subscribing for it, sharing with anybody. I don't care. I actually don't want you to spill the beans.